But let me be very clear to all of you, and I've been very clear to the president. He bears responsibilities for his words and actions. No ifs, ands, or buts. I asked him personally today, does he hold responsibility for what happened? Does he feel bad about what happened? He told me he does have some responsibility for what happened. And he needs to acknowledge that.
I've had it with this guy. What he did is unacceptable. Nobody can defend that, and nobody should defend it.
Okay, my friends, let's take a closer look together. Kevin McCarthy has now finally received an endorsement from former President Donald Trump to secure his position in the upcoming midterm elections. While endorsing Kevin on Truth Social, Trump said, "In Congress, Kevin is a tireless advocate for the people of Bakersfield and Central Valley. He is working incredibly hard to stop inflation, deliver water solutions, and hold Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi accountable for their catastrophic failures and dereliction of duty. Kevin McCarthy has my complete and total endorsement. He is an outstanding representative for the people of California and a strong and fearless leader of the House Republican Conference." What I found interesting is that Trump did not say anything about McCarthy becoming the next Speaker of the House or even the leader of the House. Trump only endorsed him for another term. And you also have to keep in mind that before Trump gave his endorsement to McCarthy, the people of Wyoming booed him. This clear displeasement towards McCarthy might be from the recent release of a phone call dating back to January 10th, 2021, when he said he was considering telling Trump to resign if the former president was impeached. Trump, on the other hand, told the Wall Street Journal in April that he still has a good relationship with McCarthy because he ultimately backed him up. This is what Trump said. "I think it's all a big compliment, frankly. McCarthy and others realized they were wrong and supported me." The Wyoming rally was conducted to support GOP candidate Harriet Hagman, who is running against incumbent Representative Liz Cheney. Now, let me remind everyone that the Republican National Committee censored Liz Cheney and Representative Adam Kinzinger for criticizing Trump on mainstream news and for their participation in the January 6th committee. Now we understand why Trump and McCarthy were there to support Harriet Hagman, but for McCarthy, it's even deeper. The newly created 20th Congressional District in California, which he will be running in, has been ranked by pollsters as solidly Republican. And McCarthy will be facing a tough challenge, and he knows that he needs the support from Trump's America First base to even win. According to experts, it is highly likely that McCarthy could be elected as the next House Speaker or Majority Leader in the upcoming midterm elections because Democrats generally lose during the midterm election. But like I said, this all depends on Trump.
Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing.
I told the truth to the FBI, and the jury clearly recognized that. Despite being falsely accused, I'm relieved that justice ultimately prevailed in my case.
As the controversial Sussman trial has come to an end, you will be surprised to know how some of the most credible facts presented by John Durham were ignored by the jury and could have easily locked Sussman behind bars. If we go back to mid-2016, FBI officials were drafting a statement to be released in public about a possible hacking into the network of the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, also known as DCCC. However, as Michael Sussman was representing the DCCC at the time, Jim Traynor, an assistant director for the FBI Cyber Division, decided to consult with Sussman to ensure the draft had no mistakes before issuing any statement to the public. So on July 29, 2016, Jim wrote an email to Sussman saying this: "Michael, our press office is once again getting a ton of calls on the DCC matter. A draft response is provided below. Wanted to get your thoughts on this prior to sending it out." Okay, so this is how Sussman replied. "The draft you sent says only that the FBI is aware of media reports. It does not say that the FBI is aware of the intrusion that the DCCC reported. Indeed, it refers only to a possible cyber intrusion, and in that way undermines what the DCC said in its statement, or at least calls into question what DCC said." Now, Here comes the most important part. The email sent by the FBI to Sussman only talks about a possible hacking, despite the fact that no hacking was committed yet on the DCCC network. However, in order to ensure the FBI works as a puppet, Sussman, who at that point had the power to take advantage of his position, and he did. He proposed some questionable changes in the draft that completely changed its entire meaning. He directed Jim to change the statement from saying the FBI is aware of reporting on a possible cyber intrusion involving the DCCC to saying the Bureau is aware of the cyber intrusion involving the DCCC that has been reported in the media, and the FBI has been working to determine the nature and scope of the matter. When Jim realized the shift of significant words from possible to aware, he agreed to make the changes as he believed Sussman to be an expert in the field. This is exactly what Jim said regarding Sussman's word changes. We try to limit what we see and not acknowledge too much, but the below edits are fine and we will send out. But we must not forget, on July 28, 2016, just one day before Jim sent the email of the draft to Sussman, the then CIA Director John Brennan told President Barack Obama that the Russians were aware of a plan organized by Hillary Clinton to create fake relations between Trump and Russian security services.
This morning, former Juneau County Judge John Romer killed in what police believe was a targeted shooting at his home. The suspected shooter injured and in custody at the hospital.
That's what police are calling the targeted killing of a retired judge. ABC's Phil Lipoff joins us as authorities say the suspect had plans to go after more people in the judicial system. Phil, good morning.
After Democrats and the violent protests that put the lives of Supreme Court judges at risk since the draft leak of the Roe v. Wade case, a retired judge in Wisconsin on Friday was shot and killed in his own home as a result of what appears to be a targeted attack against the judicial system. According to Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Kaul, the Juneau County Sheriff's Office on Friday received a call about 2 shots fired at a home in New Lisbon around 6:30 a.m. When the police finally reached the house, they quickly realized it belonged to 68-year-old John Romer, a former circuit judge in Juneau County. When the officers failed to negotiate a surrender with the gunman, a special tactics team entered the residence where they found the judge and another man in the basement. Surprisingly, this second person, who is the suspect in this case, was suffering from a gunshot wound from a firearm recovered from the scene. Now, according to Kaul, who refused to disclose the name of the 56-year-old suspect, who had a list of targets who were all part of the judicial system, Kaul said, "This incident appears to be a targeted act, and the suspect appears to have had other targets as well. It appears to be related to the judicial system." Now, regarding the safety of other judges, Attorney General Josh Kaul had this to say: "At this point, we are not aware of any evidence indicating that there is any active danger to other individuals. Those who may be other targets have been notified." I want to remind everyone that this is not an isolated incident. On May 9th, Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito, who drafted the overturning of Roe v. Wade, was also forced to move to a secure and undisclosed location with his family after receiving credible death threats from the protesters.
More bad news, a new record high when it comes to the price of gas.
Already 8 states are over the $5 mark.
Prices right at the LA County average for today, which is $6.17 for a gallon of regular unleaded. This is a new record for a 4th day in a row. And one senior filling up her tank here says it's getting harder to stretch limited dollars.
In his efforts to eradicate Americans' dependence on fossil fuels, the astonishing statistics are now proving that Joe Biden wants to make Americans poor by forcing them to pay for higher gas prices. According to a recent report published by the American Automobile Association, AAA or AAA, the average price per gallon of gasoline has doubled since President Joe Biden took office. In the report, it shows that when Biden took office on January 20th, 2021, the average price for a gallon of gas was $2.39. However, as of June 5th, 2022, the price increased to about $4.85 per gallon. Not one state in America averages less than $4 per gallon. And the race for the state with the highest gas prices is going on right now as we speak. Hawaii and Nevada are running at $5.57 per gallon, and good old California is leading the way with $6.32 per gallon. Unfortunately, Biden's corrupt plan of ending the use of fossil fuels by stealing people's savings is working. Gas Buddy analyst Patrick DeHaan posted on Twitter, according to Gas Buddy data, weekly U.S. gasoline demand fell 2.3% from the prior week and is now 1.5% below the rolling 4-week average. Also, Republican National Committee Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel chimed in. Joe Biden's war on American energy has forced families across the country to empty their wallets to fill their tanks. Unfortunately, Biden is doubling down on his disastrous agenda because he's not the one paying the price. The American people are. And last week, while referring to Biden's statement of rising gas prices as part of an incredible transition to electric vehicles, Senator Lindsey Graham said, I think that the main takeaway from this statement that he is telling the American people they are doing this to you on purpose, that the transition period is being imposed by policies coming from the Biden administration. Nevertheless, Biden's administration is using every unreasonable excuse to defend rising gas prices. And it's just sad they continue to have Press Secretary Karen Jean-Pierre insult our intelligence by telling us high gas prices are to be blamed on the Russia-Ukraine war. Thank you all for spending time with me. Now don't forget, take a look at this video right up here, and don't forget to join me tomorrow at the same time where we will discover more truth that's happening in America. Thank you all. Take care.